the home building and remodeling show. Let's go! Welcome everybody to the home building and remodeling show. My name is Chris Kirby and I'll be your host. I am the owner of 3 construction companies on the Alabama Gulf Coast. The show is about residential construction. We're going to cover topics of home building and remodeling. Are you thinking of doing a remodel or building a home? Are you a contractor looking to improve your knowledge base or grow your business? Have you ever done a remodel project or built a home? There were so many things you wish you knew or that you could have done differently during the process. Then this show is for you. We break down the process of building and remodeling and how to have the best results during your project. Whether you're a DIYer looking for tips, someone looking to hire a contractor to do a project, or a contractor looking to expand your knowledge base or your business. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Stay tuned.
Welcome everybody to this week's episode. We are going to have DIY expert / maker / builder / mother / wife Shannon Evans join us this week on the show. She's going to be talking all things HGTV, renovation resort, her path that led to her being on the show, just a lot of different things that we could tap into with Shannon. Ryobi as I call it, Ryobi. We're going to be tapping into some of that stuff with her and just talking about her journey. Let her share her story with you. Listen to how it felt being the only female builder on Renovation Resort. If there was anything she learned from that, and then opportunities in the future as she moves forward and looks to further her passion and her journey in the DIY world and in our world of home building, remodeling, and interior design, and just share the love that she has for our industry. And then hopefully you out there can glean information from her. You're able to pick up bits of knowledge and enjoy listening to her journey, listen to her background, her experience, some of the turmoil that's come with being a female builder, and some of the things that she's had to overcome, or some of the exciting things in her journey as well that led her to be where she's at. I truly have enjoyed the relationship that I've had with Shannon. She was someone who came down and actually hung out with us. She took time to go to some of our job sites. For those of you who are just listening for the first time, who have never listened, my name is Chris Kirby. I own a couple of construction companies here on the Alabama Gulf Coast, and we focus on remodeling in one company, remodeling home additions, and then in the other company, we build custom homes. And Shannon was able to come down and learn at our office, at our workshop, and just embrace and learn with us real day-to-day stuff that we go through, and some of the stuff that she learned from us and she was able to use on her journey and her successful journey on HGTV, and now what she'll be doing at speaking at future home shows. So if you're at a builder show or a home show, you're very likely to see Shannon in the future. I'm beyond blessed to call her a friend. She is an advocate for women in construction, as well as follows that path and that journey of being hands-on in the world of construction, actually making things, and then sharing that part of her life with us for all of us to see, which can be scary, but she does it. And I encourage you to do the same thing. If you have your own DIY journey, if you have your own building journey, if you have your own remodeling journey and would love to share your story, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got where you are, and share. Don't be afraid to share some of the bad stuff. A lot of us are hesitant to do that, but it's a part of our success and a part of our story that has made us successful, and sharing those experiences as well may help out our fellow home builders, remodelers, interior designers, and people in the construction industry. So Again, stay tuned for Shannon's story. She's going to be on the next 2 episodes. And then after her, I'm excited to announce we have Sarah Trop. She's been on Flea Market Flip. She is the owner of Fun Cycled, and she as well is a woman in construction who also is actually doing the work and is out there every day with us on her own journey. And she's got an exciting few episodes with us where she sits down and shares her story. And just in the introduction, let me get you pumped up. Just in our introductory call where I got to know Sarah, we could have sat there for hours talking because she's that relatable. Her story is that relatable. Her journey is that exciting. And she's excited to share the knowledge and information that she has concerning AI, concerning historic flips, concerning being a woman in construction, all of that type of stuff she's going to share with us. So tune in, and I look forward to sharing more stories, more builders, more remodelers, more interior designers as we move forward. And if you know of anyone who would like to come on the show or that you think would be a good fit for the show to get their message, their story, their journey out there, please have them email us at thehomebuildingshow@gmail.com. Again, thehomebuildingshow@gmail.com, and we'll get them booked and you can listen to their story. So stay tuned. Shannon is a blast. We had a lot of fun. Hope you enjoy. Welcome to Shop Talk, the segment where we bring in a co-host or special guest and just chop it up about home building, remodeling, and DIY. This is where stories get shared, lessons get learned, and we dive into the real side of the craft, straight from the people living it every day. Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Home Building and Remodeling Show. I have with me special guest. She's an all-star and really has a lot of momentum. Her name is Shannon Evans. Shannon, how are you?
Hi, thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Of course. Yeah, it was a no-brainer for me to bring you on. We met a little over a year ago just by you reaching out and wanting to come and hang out and visit. And then another reason that I wanted to have you on was because you actually came here, hung out with us for a couple of days, and then you took this information and knowledge and basically now you're sharing it with the world. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how?
Thank you for being so willing to share with me and taking that risk of saying, yeah, we'll show her how to do everything. So yeah, it came down to Biloxi, right? Is that the town?
No, Alabama.
I don't remember what town
It's okay. We're close enough to Biloxi.
Flew into a town of people I didn't know. Went to meet a bunch of people I didn't know. But yeah, it was so great. At the time I had known that we would be filming for our show, and I luckily was able to connect with you. And I knew if I was going to learn the best ways to do it, because I knew the platform would be seen by millions. And I didn't want to go in and build something incorrectly or get torn up for maybe something that I could have done better. So I knew that would be something that you and I could connect on. And sure enough, we did. You taught me something in almost every project that you see on TV. I mean, most of them were done through something I learned from you, and of course Jeremiah. And so, yeah, it was really fun.
And then you also, so one of the cool things is, as soon as you left, you also had a viral video that you had filmed of Jeremiah doing the bucket, right?
Yeah. What is that? Like millions?
Crazy.
Yeah, like millions for soaking the tile. Yeah. And it's funny because tiling is one of those things that there were so many people with so many opinions. But for the most part, it's like a supportive community when you start to post things about tips and tricks. It's like, no, I like it when people are more likely to say, like, here's why I do it or here's why I don't, rather than being like, that's a stupid idea. But either way, it went viral.
We get that. We do so many how-tos that every video has 50 different people with 50 different ways that they could have done it better.
Well, could have done it better.
That is also the beauty of what we do, because a lot of times what people don't realize is we go back and read those, and the ones that are worth reading, we do. Right. And we actually will put some of that into practice.
Absolutely. I mean, I learned a lot. It's how I learned. It was like at the time, like even just finding you guys and the strength that you had with what you were teaching people and what you were so well versed in. And it was like, oh my gosh, this would be great to be able to learn from someone who you don't just do, you do because you understand why.
Yeah.
And that was like, again, that was the most important thing for me. I didn't want to just do it on TV. I wanted to be able to say like, oh, I'm doing it this way because, or I'm doing it this way because of the following reasons, or this makes sense because of this way, because I was afraid people would challenge that on this platform.
Absolutely.
Just like they did in the, in the video. It's like, if they start challenging me, I wanted a leg to stand on. And
Absolutely.
you gave me that because I was like, no, actually, this is why I'm doing it this way.
I just thought it was so cool that you just kind of reached out, messaged me and whatever, and was like, hey, I would love to come down. And then I was like, well, sure, come on down. And you did it, because we get a lot of people that do that. We get a lot of people that are, where's this training? Yeah. And they don't realize that this is our office space, and the stuff that we show, we're actually doing real work. Yeah. This is our everyday life,
I think it was so unique, even though like, even when the Uber driver was taking me, he's like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't really know these people. And I know it's out in the middle of nowhere. And, we're going to this building. I don't know. I'm hoping these guys aren't going to kill me.
That's right.
But like just the way that you walk into your space, and it's like everybody there was so eager to not only like teach me, but we were all learning something. I mean, no matter what you're always going to learn something if you would just listen and watch instead of being like the pro.
Oh, well, and that's kind of our, when we talk to each other, and we do a lot of training here. And the reason that we do that and why it's so important in our industry is because product and technology change so much. So you may learn something, and then 6 months later, there's a new way, there's a better way, quicker, faster, more efficient. And that's what it's all about. So we never try to box ourselves in to one way. So my whole team has embraced learning as a part of our culture.
Yes.
We are a learning company.
You can see that. That is very clear when you walk in there.
So let's get to some of the questions I have for you. And, so where are you based out of? Let's start there.
Sure. I'm based in, I say Charlotte, North Carolina, because I live in the Carolinas. We border North and South. I can walk over the border right now in 3 minutes, right? So in the Carolinas, and our city is Charlotte because that's where we are. But we're actually in South Carolina. So I'm based in, like, when you watch the show, it's Charlotte, North Carolina. Because it's just the closest big city for me. But I'm based in the Carolinas.
Got you. And one of the other cool things about you was not just that you were doing this stuff. I had watched some of the Ryobi stuff. So you've done some Ryobi stuff. Let's jump over to the Ryobi stuff. So another important part of your story and journey that I had noticed was that you were doing some videos and different things for Ryobi. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Ryobi and I had connected a couple of years ago. And at the time, just like everything, like we had just come out of COVID and people were really into projects. There was a lot of weekend warriors, if you will, coming up. And more people willing to do things, because when you're locked in your home for a long time, I suppose that's when you start getting really, really antsy with your hands. So people were doing a lot of big stuff. And I think they were going through a phase where they knew they wanted a face to some of their videos and some of their product descriptions and videos on YouTube and all of these things they were doing, of someone that was more approachable for what they were looking to sell. And so we connected on that level, and our missions kind of lined up. I wasn't out there being like, I know everything and I'm a bad builder and I'm really great. It's like, hey, I'm a DIYer. I love doing this stuff. I want to explain to people and empower people to do it. And I also want to come across really approachable, so that if people meet me on the streets and say, hey, you're the Ryobi girl, I can give them tips and they know they can ask for that, right? So it's funny because that really catapulted for me a confidence in like saying, you know what, I do have credibility. If a company as big as Ryobi is willing to say, I'm going to slap your face on our products and put them out there. Like if you go to the Home Depot app and you're searching for a Ryobi tool, my face comes up. Like,
how cool is that?
Just be throwing yourself out there if you don't feel, I mean, it was just really just a wild experience to get into that with them. And then of course that turned into more people being like, well, okay, now it was almost like a circle of, I got credibility from them, but then I got credibility from that and they got credibility. Like it just kind of went in this circle of like, wait a minute. I love these tools. I do love using them. I do love what they were teaching other people, and the ease of using them made me able to say to people, oh, you're just starting? Here's some really great beginner tools. And I knew I was giving them something they can manage.
So I'm glad you hit on that piece. And that's kind of why, I wanted to ask you about it, because, I did a tool brand vote the other day, and I wanted to I say Ryobi. I know I'm saying
it's
Ryobi.
Where you're from.
Okay. All right. So we'll stick with Ryobi. But so for beginner,
Mhm.
okay, they are very affordable.
Very affordable.
And their connections, right? The disconnect and the batteries and being able to swap.
Yep.
I mean, they have streamlined that to make it to where you can use the same battery on multiple tools.
Multiple platforms.
And affordability when you're first starting out as a contractor it's very important when you're building up. So you build up over time, your tools, the amount of tools you have. You get bigger tools, you get better tools.
Mhm.
But in my opinion, you cannot beat the quality that Ryobi, and we still have a ton of Ryobi stuff, the quality that they give you at that, definitely the beginner level. And again, they're building up their brand and their quality of tool, I think can compete, with some of those other brands, even beyond beginner. You know what I mean?
And they own like TTI Electronic. They own TTI owns other brands too. So it's like when you look at a company that strong and saying there's a need for tools that aren't intimidating. I always say they're very approachable. They're very user friendly.
Love that.
And seeing, even doing the show, like I only used Ryobi on the show purposely. Like I'm not going to water myself down as a brand and saying, this is what I use. And then someone tunes in on TV and sees me using something else.
Love that. Yeah.
It's funny. I have this, they just sent me these huge boxes of like the starter kits. And it's like everything you need to start.
I love that. Yeah. We've bought a couple.
Yeah. It's like so helpful because it's just one box of everything that anyone would need to start. How many tool companies can say that they do that and that ease of that price point? I don't know. I love them. They're just great.
You cannot beat that. And to be quite frank, like even watching some of the stuff that you do on your pages, right? Made by Shannon Evans, correct?
Yeah.
On Instagram. Please go check it out. You do some fun stuff. I love watching you on your pages.
Oh.
Has there been something that you haven't been able to do as far as, I need a better saw or anything, right?
If I do it, just tell them I need it, right? Like they make it. It's just a matter of what I'm doing, but there's a tool for everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
That, got you learning about tools. It put your face on camera and it made you more comfortable in doing the stuff that you're doing. And now you're out there, you have your own pages and Insta and Facebook and different things.
Yeah.
But now this leads us into kind of what you're doing now, which, you hinted on and couldn't talk much about when you were here for obvious reasons. But I love watching you on there. And one of the important parts is that you're the only female builder on the show right now, right?
I'm the only female.
I love the pink coveralls, rocking it out. And what's the name of the show?
Renovation Resort Showdown on HGTV.
Got it. Yeah. And how was that experience for you?
That's it's a never ending answer to that question of how that experience was. It was something that I definitely knew was going to be part of my journey. I never questioned that wouldn't happen. I just wasn't sure when or how, but I knew it was coming. And I kind of took the steps to kind of plant those seeds. Even coming down to see you guys was part of that manifestation of saying, this is one of the steps.
You love that word. You have always used that. You have to manifest these things. Like, you've got me saying that sometimes and believing. You got me believing and stuff. I love that.
If you can picture it and think about it in a way that it's going to happen in your life, it's going to happen. If you speak
and
about
you've done more than that, though, right? Sure. So since that journey, you've done some other stuff with HGTV as well.
I did. 2025, which we're in, right? Gosh, I don't even know what year it is. I've done 3 shows, 2 of them on HGTV, 1 of them on the Roku channel. And it was funny because I came out of filming. We filmed in Toronto, Canada for the whole summer. So I was gone June to like October. Yeah. And we filmed this entire 8 episodes that you're watching now, which they're airing right now. Yes. Once that was over, I was home for, I don't think very long, just long enough to be like, my head was started to not spin. And I got a call from one of, it was the producer for Rock the Block, who owns a production company that puts on Rock the Block. And she had been a friend of mine because she was part of my journey of mentorship. And she said, hey, we need a builder in one of the homes on Rock the Block. And I was like, say no more. I was on a red-eye flight like the next night.
Wow.
Going out to Utah, and I arrived at the house and I worked Rock the Block for that season. I was in Kamahai and Tristan's house. They have the show called Renovation Aloha on HGTV. Wonderful couple. They do Hawaiian homes. So I worked with them and I was their build producer, which essentially meant I was making sure that I was building and finishing all the projects with the builders and making sure everything was going smooth. So I was like, I had just come off from the camera side of things and I had a build producer on the show, right? Like I had that person for my show.
So now you had the experience.
And then I flipped it and I knew exactly how to do that role because I just had that role on the other side. And I was like,
I would be so, you know what's funny about it though, and I love doing the show and I love doing what I do and I put myself out there and get beat up all the time for different stuff. I would be so nervous no matter how. I've been building houses for years and doing renovations and remodeling for years, and I would still be so nervous to do that. But not only do you do things like that, Shannon, but you own it as a builder. And I love that. I love that side. You are not scared to put yourself out there. And it's becoming more and more common to see women in construction, you know? And it's just a natural part of what we're seeing, right? This month is about on the show. We have a lot of female guests coming on, and there's really not much that's off limits because it's just another natural conversation about building. And I love that. You know, you definitely, now you've worked with the design side. You've got the eye for that stuff, right?
Yeah, but I do. I try.
So creative. One thing that you were doing here, you know, and my team still jokes about it. They're like, she loves arches. Like, she loves arches. What is going on with the arches, you know? And we did a couple of videos like how to build arches because...
Listen, you guys taught me how to do arches. I learned it from watching you, Dad, right? Like, that's the kind of... I learned it from you. You guys taught me to love arches because the reason I love arches is because I know how easy they are for people to put them in their homes. And you look at an arch and you think, wow, that is fantastic. What an element. What a beautiful statement to have an arch. But it's so easy to do. And so it's almost like for me, I've always kind of pulled towards things that were more easy to do. And I say easy loosely. It's nothing is easy in building, but you know, the things that you can really easily attain that are more approachable projects. And for me, it's like, I can show someone how to do an archway in seconds.
Love it.
Because it's really not that difficult when you break down the why behind the structure of the arch.
And I love the fact that you were able to come here and gain some real world knowledge, but you are also sharing that journey and your journey and that type of thing with other people. What's the goal for you now? Where are we at? What are we doing? And what's it look like for you in sharing your knowledge and putting yourself out there? Like, what do we got coming up?
I think right now, the next step for me is, of course, the show is airing. So there's a lot of going, you know, press, if you will, and getting out there and really being able to use my voice, because when you do a show, it's not that my voice wasn't heard by any means, but it also gives you the platform now to say, in extension of what you saw on TV, here's my message as well, right? Here's also a little bit about me and what I'm doing. So I'm going to use that voice and continue with that. This fall, I start doing home shows. My first one is in Vancouver, but I'm going to be doing America and US, where I'm going to these big home shows. And, you know, these people are all homeowners, or, you know, people that are inspiring to be homeowners, and they're learning things about their homes. And I'm speaking on main stages to say, hi, you know, hey, let me give you a message that's going to either inspire you or get you in the mindset that you can do this kind of stuff, and that, you know, you're going to get used to seeing this kind of face where we are. And I want you to get used to it. And I want it to, you know, instead of saying, hey, I'm the first female, I want to be like, hey, I don't want to be the last. You know, there's room here. Let's all be a part of this. Let's decide, what is it inside of you that you love doing with your hands? All right, well, let me help you with that. So I think for me, it's really just using my voice in a way that is going to continue to inspire people and really get their hands dirty, no pun intended, but like really get people in there to develop parts of them, because I think we need more makers. I think the younger generation is lacking that. We don't have shop class anymore. We don't have, you know, certain things that they really do need to be doing that kind of learning and growing with their own hands. And I think parents are jumping in front of creativity based on what they know or based on their limits of creativity.
What we try to do here is we want to make sure that people understand that construction can be a first choice. We're trying to change the narrative, because it not only do you have hey, women in construction didn't exist before, but now they're coming in, and we are very culturally diverse. So you've got a lot of diversity. But another part of the message is that it's not just a dirty job because you couldn't get another job. So we just built a new trade school, and they do have a construction program. And, you know, I'm on the board of advisors for that. And we go in and we encourage them. It is a shop type class, and they're building tiny homes. So they're actually from the ground up, they're building tiny homes, and then we'll go in and train them on different aspects of that. And we want them to understand that there are career companies out there, right? So in our industry, you have a lot of individual contractors, but then you have companies like ours where there are multiple employees, and there's levels to it. There's working in the field, there's being project manager, and we value your character, mindset, your tenacity, your willingness to do work, the trust and integrity you have. And I'll be honest, I don't care your color, your race. I don't care, you know, male or female. And part of our message is this can be a primary choice. There's more to construction than that meets the eye. It doesn't have to be a situation where it's a last resort because you couldn't get into college. And you're sharing, and what you're doing as well is saying that it doesn't have to be scary for anybody to go into the industry. You can learn, you can pick up a tool, you can do. And again, you called it being a maker. And that's kind of what we want to share as well. We want people to get out there and do and make and not be scared or hesitate. You know, we just did the podcast with Jan, and she was sharing her story that she grew up in a family that builds, and her grandfather told her, hey, you can't do that, you know. And kind of that narrative really is, we're trying to get rid of that. And we want to make sure that people come into the industry, male, female alike, that they understand that, hey, you can have a career there. You can work in construction. And with the new products and technology and everything that's out there, it does make our jobs easier, but you still have to professionally develop, right? Because there are 100 ways to do things, but there are so many more ways to do things wrong. So it's whose message are you listening to? Where are you getting your information? And the shortfalls and shortcomings. So when we're doing our how-tos and we're doing the podcast, it's not all butterflies and rainbows. No. You know, it is a situation where we run into delays, weather delays. We run into homeowners who are unhappy about a certain part of a project. I saw you post recently about a cabinet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Very, you know, and we run into that, and, you know, we don't get it right 100% of the time, but what you posted was just dead wrong. That was tough to see.
Fun fact, they started following me like the next day, and I was like,
oh wow,
you want to follow me?
Oh wow.
So I
and that stuff's out there, and we battle that. We battle like, hey, this contractor took money and left or didn't complete the job. So there's so much out there, and there's so many bad actors, but we want to change the narrative and show people how to do it right. Now, there's still 1,000 ways to do something. So we're going to get the comments and all that stuff. Yep. But I think, you know, it's just inspiring to see you come on and be able to share your message. But also now you're going out into the world and saying, you know, look at me. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm doing, I'm hands-on, and I encourage you to do the same. And as a matter of fact, give me a call. You know, let's talk, you know, and that's kind of what we do as well. We're wanting people to come down like you did. Hey, come and spend some time so you can see how this is, and the real world application of it, where we took you to people's houses, you know, and walk through job sites and let you ask questions. But that's the best way, in my opinion, for you to learn, is to put your hands on. Don't be scared. So if you're watching this and you're watching Shannon, or you go follow her, you know, sometimes it's as simple as just getting up and doing it. Right?
Yeah. And it's funny, there's so many areas of what I do. Like, people are like, when someone says like, oh, what do you do for a living? Or I can't give you a title. If I say builder, then you've already put me in this like box. Right now I'm a builder. Now I build homes. No, I might build a piece of furniture. I might build a cabinet. I might, so it's like, I almost feel like if more people realize the DIY world in itself, like whether it's home improvement expert or DIY expert or all the million titles they give me on that show, at the end of the day, I'm a creator in my own way where I'm using my hands to take raw product and move it into something that's useful or beautiful.
Thanks for joining us today. As always, we are grateful for our listeners and your continued support. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on social media via Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Get more info at our website, www.thehomebuildingshow.com. And as always, remember who we are, the Home Building and Remodeling Show.